Hello, fish friends. Good to see you again. I decided to do something a little different. All of the time I've been spending over the past year, 2 years, however long I've had the channel going, doing my pond jumping, going all the different ponds and everything, I've learned a lot. So I decided I was just going to stop and kind of put it on a video, just real quick. This is just pond fishing tips, some of the things I've learned, real high level. Okay. So we'll go through a few things here. First thing that I've learned that you might not think about is your clothes. Okay, don't go charging up to the pond in a white t-shirt and white shorts. I can tell you right now, the fish can see you. Okay, me with that long sleeve. I need the long sleeves from my skin, but that long sleeve camo, real light hunting shirt, I guess it is, but it's ventilated. That you've seen me in so many times out there, 110 on the dashboard, and I'm wearing that thing. That's comfortable. And I'm sliding in that, like Jurassic Lake is a good example. I'm sliding in between bushes and I look like a bush. I think that makes a big difference, at least dark clothes. And of course, if you're approaching a pond, especially if it doesn't have much brush, start casting something light like a worm or something into it. Don't just come charging up and take your chatterbait or your buzz bait and rip one right down the middle. Hello, everybody, I'm here. You don't want to do that. So if you approach, start off subtle with your lighter stuff, a worm with no weight or 16th ounce weight, like I like to throw, something light, and then start, more aggressively with your baits. But the clothes is a big deal. So that was my number one pointer. Two, safety first. Okay, safety is number two, but should be safety first. When you're approaching the pond, you're constantly looking where you're stepping. Okay, there's cottonmouth moccasins out there. There's water snakes that'll scare you and make you hurt yourself. They can't even do anything to you. And that's half the time when somebody says I saw a cottonmouth, they saw a banded water snake is what it is. And I see a lot of them. Just you see them, just don't step on them. Let them go on their way. Don't worry about them. Alligators, another thing. I did have the scare this year at Jurassic Lake. That 9-footer was sitting beside me. I came walking up there and never even looked over to the left. And he was just laying on the bank letting me fish until I threw my spinnerbait over there and started agitating him. And that's when he went out after the spinnerbait. Then he turned and started coming at me like he wasn't scared of people at all. So that's the other thing you want to look out for. Snakes, when you walk up to the pond, you're watching it everywhere you're going to step because you don't want to step on one. If you see them swimming, just let them swim. But when you walk up to the bank, look left, look right, and see if you see, something looks like a tire. There's your alligator sitting out there getting some sun, and you can kind of get a feeling for which angle the sun is and where they'd probably be, like, trying to sun up and warm up. So you keep that in mind. Okay, when I say safety first, of course you've always got the hooks. I wear glasses, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But your hooks, your eyes. Of course, hanging yourself, trying to take a fish off that's shaking when you've got double, three-prong hooks on a crankbait, something. That's safety too. I just want everybody to have a good time and not get hurt. Okay, number three. What are you going to take out when you go out there? You're already thinking about the pond. You probably know where you're going. So you may have some premonition, something. You got an idea what you want. But if you notice on these, you see highlights when I'm out there. You don't see me chunking 3 rods constantly for 45 minutes and getting one bite. Okay, so if I only have one bite, I might not get one rod. I might not get one bite at all. So always some type of top water. If you know it's going to be mossy, then it can't be a devil's horse, or go ahead and start with a weedless frog, something like that. One of those floating perches that you can snap. Top water on one. Crankbait, spinner, chatterbait, some type of swim bait, mid-level. It's going to run in the middle. Of course, if you know it's going to be thick on weeds, you can forget anything weedless. So you're going to have to go. Forget anything that's going to grab the weeds. So you've got to go weedless. So you want to go with a swim bait or something that you can rig and bury that hook in the plastic. And then your favorite worm. Every bass fisherman's got a favorite worm. Bring it. Throw it. Suggestions there is the hotter it is, the slower you better go. It's kind of weird because you have to go slow in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the day. And in the evening and morning, you can that's when they're more active. But middle of the day, if you're going to try and catch them, you better go slow. And then also in the winter time, when they're slowing down, they're not moving much. Real slow on the worm. If you think you're going slow, slow down. Okay, that's my advice on that. Number 4, set the hook. I can't tell you how many fish I've lost. I just watched a video that made me think about doing this one, of 2 guys fishing. A guy had a giant fish. He was reeling a crankbait along. It'd been his pole, and he just kept reeling. And they were like, "Oh, look how big it is!" And it shook the hook. And his buddy said, "You never set the hook. Set the hook." I mean, I don't. You should have your drag set light enough to where when you set that hook, it slips a little bit. That's how hard I want you to hit that bass. Okay, you got, if you're fishing with a rubber worm, especially one of them old monsters or big ones, that big old 5/0 circle or offset worm hook is buried in that. You've got to get it through all that and through him, and you've got maybe 50 feet of line out that's going to stretch. Okay, so hit them hard. You're going to complain a lot less that, oh, this happened because I hit them too hard, than you are going to, oh, another one got off because I didn't set the hook. Set the hook. That's number 4. Okay. And when you set the hook, if you're in a pond situation, now this is different. You're not out here in the boat where you go, look at him. Yeah, he looks pretty. Yeah. Fight him all day out there in 10 foot of water with no stumps. You're having to drag them out of that water up through, like Jurassic Lake and several lakes that I fish have a lot of underwater debris. Okay, and then you're having to bring that fish up into the shallow and get him out of there. 2 or 3 times over the year, I hooked some big ones. I hooked a big one in that shallow end of Jurassic. I hooked another big one. Where was it? I don't know. I hooked another big one that I lost. It was at the same lake, my original spot there. It's like all you can think is if I'd have rushed him a little more, you pop the line, you go, oh, I rushed him too much. But same thing with set the hook hard, rush them hard. You're pond fishing. You don't have all day to get your buddy to get the net. So get him out of there, okay? Number 5, leave the place as well or better than it looked when you got there. If you go down there and there's trash, it's not going to hurt you to bring a little bit of trash out of there. It's not going to hurt you to make sure you didn't drop something out of your pocket or leave your drink sitting there. A lot of these ponds, of course, I don't have permission to fish them. I'm fishing there because they're vacant or they're on public property. Either way, the biggest complaint, whether it's the cop that looks over the park over there that has the 3 ponds, or it's the person that owns the lake, that hasn't sold it for property yet, and you're getting a chance to fish there, why are they going to run you out? Because people keep leaving trash. That's going to be the biggest complaint. People keep leaving trash, and so I'm just not letting anybody fish. That's the last thing we want to do as fishermen. So what I want you to do, everywhere you go and fish, you leave it better than you did before, okay? So promise me you'll do that. And everybody, let's have some fun. Hopefully these tips help you some. And let's go get them. Keep fishing.